a 2-week hiatus for the international break, Championship football is back, and it's back at home park with the league leaders in town. All the build-up is coming your way over the next half an hour here on Argyle TV. Will today be the day that Argyle get their first league win? Well, you can find out with us, as this is the place to be for all of the action. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Argyle TV's pre-match show with me, Erin Black, and it's great to be back with you, bringing you all the Sky Bet Championship football. Feels so much better when Argyle are playing, and it's a lovely sunny day here in Plymouth after the international break. Now, the early pace setters, Sunderland, are the visitors today, and they have won all 4 of their matches, while Argyle, of course, as we well know, are still looking for their first league win of the season. You will, as always, be able to follow all of the action here with us on Argyle TV. Match passes, both audio and video streaming, are available for the game this afternoon. So head over to pafc.co.uk to check out all the details on getting hold of those. And joining me for the pre-match show this afternoon is none other than Brian McGlinchey. Brian, lovely to have you with us this afternoon.
Afternoon, how are you?
How's it going?
Yeah, good.
Well, you joined us on the breakfast show earlier.
I did, yeah.
And we spoke about the game ahead. Obviously, for people that are tuning in for the match show that couldn't make it this morning, what are your expectations of this afternoon?
I think it'll be a difficult afternoon. I think we know Sunderland are flying, but I'm hoping that the international break has come as a little bit sort of inconvenience to them, because they were in fine form, and probably we needed that bit of a break to reset, and we had less international players going away, so they had a big squad of international players going. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to regroup, find a style of play that we want to play, and yeah, if we can get a result today, then it really does help us.
Yeah, and we know we've seen Argyle before come out and get the win against arguably bigger teams that are up at the top of the table. We saw it happen last season. It's entirely feasible it could happen again today.
Yeah, look, if you read the manager's comments on the programme, he mentions anyone can beat anyone in this league. You look at the game last year against Leicester, we beat them. No one expected us to win that game. I think the last home game against Stoke, it's such small details, win and lose your game. So, yeah, I think, Sunderland had an awful season last year in comparison to what they'd done in previous seasons and the budget they've got.
Yeah.
So it's a surprise for me that they're doing so well. They're a really young side, so they haven't really faced any adversity yet. So let's see how they cope with maybe a bit of a hostile crowd.
Yeah.
Maybe things don't go their way today, and let's see how the game goes from there.
Yeah, and you yourself and Aaron, who was on the breakfast show, and we had a couple of our guests as well, all mentioning the international break as something that can both be a help or a hindrance, depending on where you're at.
Yeah, 100%. Well, who knows? Sunderland might actually have benefit from that bit of reset as well. But I think most players, if they're playing well, they want to continue playing well and continue to play games. So it's hard to tell. But yeah, hopefully in our benefit, it'll affect them more than affect us.
Yeah, of course. The pressure continues to mount for Wayne Rooney, because, as we mentioned when we started the show, still looking for that first win of the season. Does that rub off on the players as much? Have you been in a situation as a player where you're conscious of not having won a game, and maybe the manager?
I think if it keeps continuing, it might do. I think his job is to keep the players relaxed, but I think the crowd are receptive of what he's trying to do. I think there's a style of play, and I think also the way he comes across, he's very down to earth, isn't it? He's immersed himself in the community, and I think he'll get time. I really do. So, but I think I like his signings. I'm really intrigued to see Haji gets on. He looks like a quality player. So obviously he needs time to get bedded in, and he's not fit yet. But yeah, I'm really hopeful that it works out for him, because it's a brave move coming down to Argyle, isn't it? Mm-hmm. He's here to be shot at, and fingers crossed he does well.
Yeah, well, let's have a look at the teams then for this afternoon and see who has made it into the starting 11. On the screen for you now, we've got Dan Grimshaw in goal, Barley Mumba, Cornell Suge, Ibrahim Sissoko, Joe Edwards, Morgan Whittaker, Callum Wright, Michael Obafemi, Lewis Gibson, Darko JB and Adam Randall. And on the bench, Marco Morosi, Nathaniel Ogbeta, Jordan Houghton, Ryan Hardy, Mustafa Bundu, Brendan Galloway, Adam Forshaw, Rami Al-Hajj and Victor Palson. There's Al-Hajj, obviously you just mentioned there, Brian. He's on the subs bench. And we must touch on Dan Grimshaw, of course, in goal. This is his first league debut this afternoon because we know Connor has it out with that ankle injury for at least 12 weeks.
Yeah, it's a big game for him coming in. He's obviously got good quality. He's not the tallest, but he's very agile. So yeah, but I'm sure the back four will keep him right. And yeah, it's a big game for him coming in. But he's going to get his opportunity now with injuries and stuff. But that's what you got to do. You got to take your opportunities. And yeah, I like the look of the side. Surprised that Callum Wright's come in, if I'm honest. But and I'm really interested to see Obafemi, how he reacts as well. But an attacking side, but mindful as well of excuse me, Sunderland on the break as well.
We must mention Barley Mumba, who is in the starting 11, which means that today will be his 100th game in an Argyle shirt. Me and Aaron spoke in the breakfast show when Adam Randall has his 100th game here at home. He managed to score his first home goal. Yeah. We know that won't be the case for Barley because he's done it before, but to score against your kind of origin club could be an interesting opportunity. Yeah,
I think it'd be amazing if he could, wouldn't it? But Ballymumba's been a great asset for us. 100th appearance is pretty phenomenal. He's still a young lad as well. But I think, if I'm honest, as a defender, he'd be concentrating on his own job and 3 points. Because I think Argyle need to make sure they get the 3 points as quickly as possible, because the longer the season goes without these first win, it becomes challenging.
Yeah, and speaking to the Sunderland commentator as well, he mentioned they haven't conceded and gone down and kind of fought back from a loss at the season so far. I think they had an own goal in one of their games, but they haven't really had to face up against adversity in that regard. So should Argyle get a goal away quite quickly, it may throw a bit of a spanner in the works as to what them and their manager have been used to this season so far.
Yeah, it's all gone well for Sunderland, hasn't it? I think their average age is under 23, I think, so they're a really young side. So obviously, when you're up against it, they've got maybe, they haven't got many leaders in the sense of age. So, but it's up to Argyle to believe in themselves, take the game to them. I did hear their manager talk about it's all about what they do. So, for me, it's exactly right. Argyle just need to stick to their game plan and see where the game goes.
Yeah, well, let's have a look at our opposition then. They are in the form of Sunderland this afternoon. On screen for you to have a look at. There we've got Anthony Patterson, Dennis Sirkin, Dan Neal, Daniel Ballard, Job Bellingham, Patrick Roberts, Chris Rigg, Eliza Mayenda, Luke O'Nine, Romain Mundell and Trey Hume. And on their bench, Simon Moore, Alan Brown, Nazari Rusin, Wilson Isidore, Chris Meffam, Milan Alexic, Leo Hielder, Tom Watson and Trey Ogasui. I mean, there's some names in there, Brian, that certainly ones to be looking out for fans and the players alike.
Yeah, well, for me, the standout players, Roberts, number 10. I think he's a top player. We talked about him in the breakfast show, coming from Man City. He's played in the Champions League, and he's got a home now at Sunderland. Obvious one's Bellingham as well. His brother's a top-class player, but he's a good player as well.
Yeah.
And they've got quality all over the pitch. The young lad Rigg as well, he's only 17, so yeah, Argyle's going to have to be in really top form to get a result today, but football's all about that. Football's about challenges, and for me, Argyle's got enough attacking players to hurt Sunderland today.
Yeah, and I think you and Aaron were talking earlier in the breakfast show about some of the set pieces that Sunderland have been doing as well, quite successfully.
Yeah, well, Roberts with his left foot, really good delivery. They scored a lot of their goals on the break, but you're right, a lot of set pieces, a lot of quality. And if you've got players who can put the ball in dangerous areas, it can be a real asset to your team. So giving away stupid free kicks in dangerous areas is something that Argyle can't afford to do.
Yeah, and you mentioned that they are quite a young team, I guess, comparably to some others. What kind of difference does that make? I suppose maybe a bit more energy, a bit more enthusiasm, but at the same time, obviously, you're lacking possibly experience that some older players might have.
Yeah, it can work both ways, can't it? Like if you've if you're young, you've got no fear. You'll maybe just approach the game and just go and attack it, so it can work in your favour.
Yeah.
But then you're right, when the game needs to settle down, or you need a bit of experience, they can just keep possession of the ball, that type of thing, that's when maybe they become lacking. Or when they face adversity, go 1-2-0 down, how do they cope? Do they keep believing the same thing? So we haven't seen that yet. Sunderland haven't been tested.
Yeah.
So hopefully Argyle will be their first stiff test today.
And of young players as well, we've got to mention Freddie Asaka. Used to actually seeing him on the team sheet so far this season until, unfortunately, that red card incident a couple of games ago. But Wayne Rooney has really been pushing that young talent that we kind of saw start to take off last season.
Yeah, he's given them opportunities, hasn't he? And a shame they got sent off, but again, he'll learn from that, won't he? And it's a bit of a blow losing for 3 games, but also you saw the comments about Randall earlier in the week about how good he is.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's really promoting young players, and that's what you want. So that gives the academy players a bit of a lift, doesn't it, when you see the manager giving those young players an opportunity.
Yeah, I suppose for Randall, having someone like Wayne Rooney, who is so well known and well regarded as a footballer, heaping that kind of praise on you when you are an academy player and come up through the club, that must be a really rewarding moment.
Yeah, you can imagine him running on this pitch like 10 foot tall today with that confidence booster. Yeah, like to get an accolade from such a prestigious player like Rooney, who will have seen players, top players all across the world. So, and he'll have seen him in training. And probably he'll give Randall that belief that he can go to the next level. Yeah. And he's probably trying to get that bit of leverage out of him as well, that extra 10% to go and win him a game today. So yeah, a really good boost for him. But it all happens on the pitch. Talking stops really. So unfortunately.
Yeah. And we know their new manager in particular has had a great start to the season. So he'll be feeling, Sunderland of course, Sunderland will be feeling quite optimistic. I guess it must be quite intimidating coming to home park, do you think, as a opposition team? It's quite a form. We're obviously stood here presenting at the Devonport end. When you get that wall of the Green Army.
I think this is probably a lot nicer stadium than a lot, to be honest. I think it's a nice place to come.
Yeah.
If you look at the pitch looks absolutely beautiful to play on. So it's not maybe as it's quite a luxury to come here and play, to be honest. But I know what you mean. The home crowds, the atmosphere, make it difficult for teams. Yeah. He did talk about he's not experienced the championship, so it'll be learning curves for that manager as well. So, yeah, Argyle have got to exploit every opportunity they've got. The home crowds, the different things that they've got to their advantage, and hopefully we'll see a victory today because of it.
Absolutely, yeah, and a lot more to discuss until kick-off, of course. We have been asking you all to get in touch with us online, so let's just do a couple of very quick shout-outs. We've got Tony, of course, watching over in Australia. This is a good one, Brian, from someone called Brooke saying, I can't be bothered for the mood I'm going to be in, Argyle, if you don't win, so can you do me a favour and get 3 points today? So that's a very good one. And MG also said, hoping Argyle not losing today. Also hoping for an Aberdeen win, but I guess we might be able to keep track of that possibly. It would be great to pick up those 3 points. I think everyone really is waiting for them.
Yeah, we've got a hard set of fixtures coming up, haven't we? We're playing all the top teams. But as I said earlier, we didn't expect to get anything against Leicester last year, and they were above and beyond the best team in the league by a country mile. So football's all about individual battles, believing in what you can do. And sometimes the best players don't beat the best team, so it's about, as a team, Argyle performing. So hopefully Argyle can get over the line. Yeah, well, it's not just us waiting for it and not you at home. Of course, the main man as well. Let's hear from him now. Wayne Rooney has been talking to Rob McNichol.
Yeah, I think it's a challenging group of games, of course, and there's no denying that. But I think from our point of view, it's an opportunity for us to go up against some good teams, some of the best teams in the division, and compete and challenge. And we'll have to show real togetherness in these games, but also we'll have to be clinical as well. But also an opportunity for us, I feel, to show that we're a good team and we can compete. I think that's important for our lads to take that into these games, because I've no doubt we can compete with these teams, and I think probably getting that win is the next step for us in terms of giving the lads a bit more confidence from that point of view. But I'm really excited by this group of games, because I think come the end of these we'll know a little bit better where we're at.
Yeah, and I think your experience and your experience of success, I think, plays into that a bit. Knowing making big games bigger is sometimes something that really good players do. Are you looking forward to seeing the dressing room's mentality? Because you'd like to see that they're going to say, here's some big teams, let's prove a point against them, and go out there with an extra sense of determination.
Yeah, well, I think every game in this division is a tough game, regardless of who it is, and for different reasons at times as well. But I think for us, I think, you know, Sunderland's a very young team, very energetic team. There's certainly weaknesses in there we can try and exploit to try and win the game. And then moving on, obviously we're looking at Sunderland at the minute, but moving on, yeah, there's good teams, good players in these teams. But we're also a good team. We've got good players, and I think we're gradually showing that in terms of results. Of course, we would like the results to be better, but I think we're showing in games that, you know, we're taking the ball from opposition a lot of the time. We're competing in big moments in games, but it's them real moments when, in terms of taking chances, that's what we need to be better at. But a lot of what we're doing, I've been pleased with.
Wayne Rooney speaking there, and the players have just finished their warm-up on the pitch behind us, so have gone back inside to get ready for the match. One of the players which we were having a little look at, Brian, is that new signing, Rami El Hadj. You know, some people have pointed out he might be a kind of Finn Azaz-esque replacement to the...
Big shoes to fill.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, well, I hope so. Yeah, obviously Argyle have to be very prudent in the market. You have to do the sort of research, make sure that they're getting the right player for the money they're going to spend. So I think we need that creativity, the player who gets in the sort of half spaces, like Azaz did. If you've got a player of that sort of calibre, become really hard to mark, and they can make a real influence in the game. Hence why Middlesbrough went and bought Azaz. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully we'll see him today. I don't think he's match fit, nowhere near match fit. So if he gets 10-15 minutes today, and makes an impact, then it'll be great. But yeah, he's signed to make a difference.
Yeah.
We've got Callum Wright playing in that 10 today. I'd probably see long term him get into that space, in behind the striker, and just giving that free role to go and make things happen. Because you want a player with ability who can create stuff. Just give him a license to do what he wants, really. Yeah. So.
Yeah,
and we spend that amount of money. You wanna see him every week, don't you? So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Rooney's spoken about being a little bit sharper in front of goal. So having, like you said, a kind of playmaker that can maybe tee everyone up a little bit more and make those plays, that possibly might be the key to, you know, unlocking that area. Is what he's looking at.
Well, 100%. I think Argyle need to create more chances, don't they? We need to, you know, the one thing that's going to keep me in this division is scoring goals. You know, 100% keeping clean sheets as well, but. We have to be more clinical. So if he's going to create better opportunities for Obafemi or Hardy, or whoever is going to play, then so be it. That's great news. But you need creativity players. You need players who are brave, can get on the ball, make things happen. And when things are going against you, get on the ball and make things happen. So yeah, looking forward to seeing him play.
Yeah, well, hopefully, like you said, maybe he'll get a bit of a run out towards the end of the game today. Let's go from one manager to another now. Regis Labrie, slightly left field choice when it came to appointing a manager at Sunderland in the summer, but life currently couldn't have started any better for him at the Stadium of Light. Here he is talking just a couple of days ago.
Against Plymouth, where it's perhaps a team that you're the favourites in the game. How will you change that philosophy?
It's still a question of adaptation on the pitch. So the scenario on the games are always different. So the identity is not only high pressure. For example, you need to master all the phases, all the single moment of the game, and maybe during one single game, just one part of the game model will be very useful to win, and the other parts are useful but not so important for that game. So, for example, against Plymouth, I don't know the scenario before, but maybe we'll have more situation with possession and counter-pressing. And these two situations, moments of the game, maybe will be more important in that game.
And so is your midfield quite fluid then, in the sense that as much as the players have set positions, if one goes, someone can sit deep and they can all fill in for each other, and they're not sort of confined to one individual role?
Yes, we started with only one shape in defense, in possession, and one shape out of possession to be very simple. But when the team now, the players are mastering these shapes, we can introduce new elements because they are able now to reach the next layer. So experiences after experiences, we can introduce new concepts, and from a single and simple start, if they are able to learn, to share the ideas together, we can go very, very far. Yeah.
There we go, Sunderland's manager as well. Like we've said, really great start to the season. Possibly, maybe not anticipated it would be that good of a start.
No, as I said, they sort of struggled last year, changed their manager a couple of times as well. So yeah, new manager's coming in. He's got like academy pedigree in the French league. So yeah, he's going to come in and have his own style. And yeah, they've surprised a few. They've lost one of their key players to Ipswich, and they've brought in a couple of decent signings. So yeah, they've got good players, really young sides. I don't see them lasting the journey, really. I really don't see it. So I think this is a game that Argyle can't win. I really do. So, but they're exciting players. They're a very fast team. Yeah. So yeah, they have sort of surprised me, to be honest. But I really think the international break might halt their sort of stride a little bit. I really do. It's Argyle to get going now, get at them. Because when you have a bit of a break, it's hard to get going again.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, if there was ever a time to try and catch them, before maybe they run away with the league, it's now while they're here at home park, and we've got all the crowds in front of us. Brian, thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thank you.
We are going to hand over to the commentary team in just a second because we are pretty much ready to go here on Argyle TV. So, very quick reminder, if you haven't got your match passes, both audio and video for some international viewers, it's available all over on the website, pafc.co.uk. It's Rob McNichol and Ian Stonebridge doing the commentary, and it's Argyle versus Sunderland coming up next.